Today I want to explore stalls, and I want to look specifically at whether I can fly an aircraft in a stalled state, or will the aircraft immediately break into a spin if I stay stalled just a little bit too long. I also know that yaw is a contributor during spin entry, so I want to make sure that I use my rudder while I stall the aircraft to see if I can keep it from dropping into a spin. I suspect I'm going to be working hard and my feet are going to be moving a lot to keep the aircraft from dropping into a spin. Let's go take a look and see what happens. I'm going to enter this stall from a slow airspeed, so I've slowed down the aircraft. I'm pulling it back into a stalled state, exceeding the critical angle of attack, and now I'm going to use my rudder to keep the wings as level as I can. I'm going to hold the stick back, keeping it in a stall, while using my rudders very quickly to keep the wing level. Here's another example of a stall where I'm trying to keep the wings level. In this stall, I was a little bit behind on the rudder and the aircraft was dropping more quickly than I was responding. Nevertheless, I was able to keep the airplane flying. It sure took a lot of work, however. You'll notice when I'm done, I simply lower the angle of attack and I'm back to flying. Now let's stall the aircraft while in a left-hand turn. Again, I'm going to use my rudder to keep the wing from dropping into a spin. I'm finding that I have to come off the rudder sooner than I would expect. If I hold counterspin rudder too long, I end up reversing the problem and the aircraft starts going in the direction I was holding rudder. So I actually have to come off the rudder a little bit sooner than I think and get on the rudder very quickly when I need to prevent the wing from dropping. When I am applying rudder to counter a dropping wing, I'm using pretty much full rudder. I'm finding that anything less is too slow to have an effect. One could try looking at the turn coordinator and the ball within it to see which rudder to press to keep the aircraft from breaking left or right into a spin. However, I think that would be extremely difficult to do well. I use visual cues, looking straight out the nose, and also how it feels in my body, whether I'm leaning left or right. I think that you'll find those cues to be much more effective at reacting quickly to add the correct rudder to prevent the aircraft from breaking left or right. Exploring today's topic helps me understand that you can fly an aircraft in a stalled state. Sure, it's going to lose altitude, and you have to stay on top of the rudders to keep it from dropping into a spin. However, this is a great example of why you want to be good with your rudder and to understand to use your rudder as you come into a stall. You don't want to counter dropping wing with aileron, as that's just going to create more of a problem for you. If you can recognize that you're coming into a stalled condition and the wing is dropping, adding counter rudder to that dropping wing will help you to keep control of the aircraft. I think it's also important to notice that when I wanted to come out of this condition, I simply had to lower the angle of attack. The turbulent air from the stalled condition would reattach to the wing, and I'd be flying comfortably once again.